Hey, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Welcome to our show. Tonight is Tuesday, December 12th. What the hell happened to this year? Flew by. I love it. That's a good thing. When things are flying by, that means that we're too busy to even blink. But anyway, we have a very special guest tonight. He is our friend. He is a broadcast professional. He has a production company. He's a writer. He just won a really big award. We'll tell you about that. But what he is my friend, and he's a miracle. And we're going to tell you about that. We're going to bring on Walker Friedman in a minute, but hit that promo, Leo.
Yeah, I'm a big fish in a small pond. Day's free and my night's long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. I'm as famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, who I am. It's fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Hi, everybody. So I said Walker Friedman. No, Walker Vreeland. Oh, my God. What am I thinking? Anyway, he's been my friend for 100 years. You'd think I would say his last name right. Vreeland. It's Vreeland. It's one of those things you have to get your mouth ready to say. Look who's joined us. As per usual, Leo knows. First one in, Danielle from D's Enlightened Edits has joined us. Happy Tuesday, Maria. And Leo, happy Tuesday to you, my friend Danielle. Danielle is our friend. She's amazing. She's a spiritual medium. She's a healer. She's a psychic. She is a reader. She does a lot of amazing things. Dream interpretation, all that stuff. And she's she can do it via Zoom. So you don't have to be, people ask me all the time, where is she located? I don't, doesn't matter where you are in the country. You can Zoom in with D or on the phone. Happy Tuesday, my lovely, says my good friend Lori Towers, who I saw this weekend, Sunday, at Anthony Fett's show. Leo, I wish you were there. Oh my God. The only thing missing was Leo Rodriguez. It was an amazing show. And I believe it was at the Triad, but I believe if you go to anthonyfett.com, he has it up on his page now, so you can watch that. Rena, right? Did you watch it?
I was there.
You were there virtually?
I was sitting right next to you in the balcony there, but I was.
I
in
wish
my
you were
chair
sitting.
in my watching on my TV, but I had it big screened. I had it up there to listen to Lynn's new song with.
Oh
Anthony
my God,
Fett.
Lynn
It was
Porter's
amazing.
genius. Her new
Genius.
song is my favorite Christmas song now. I think it's called
I had a
Bring It.
picture. I saw Lori and John in the front row there watching.
Lori and
too.
John, the press was in the front. So I have, Lori and John were in the front. I sat there for Karen Mack's show, that front seat. Lynn and I made the same mistake. We bought tickets and it said North Pole, but we thought it was the third tier because that's where we sat last year. And at the Triad, I prefer that third tier because it's elevated. And I like to see a full screen, a full stage if I go to a show. And when I sit in the front, I can't see the musicians. So that's why I bought tickets there, but I didn't realize it was the balcony. But then, because they have a balcony at the Triad, but then I got to tell you, those balcony seats were amazing because you really get to see like the whole thing, and the audience reaction is what you get to see as well. So it was me, Lynn Portis, her husband, Joe, who, I love Joe. And then a little Billy Goffey. Little Billy Goffey. He was sitting next to me, came in like the last minute, right before the lights went down, scurried in. And we had a wonderful time. So Leah was remote viewing. Yes, Danielle. Danielle said,
I was.
I love that picture of Lori, she said. Yes, well, Lori's a hottie. So, and sharp as a whip. We had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation, as always. Rena, my cousin, Rena Cugnelli-Bergi from Massachusetts has joined us. Always a pleasure to see
Weather
Rena.
girl.
Leo calls her the weather girl because she will fill us in on the weather. I think it's already snowed at one point in Massachusetts, but I'm hoping for Christmas snow, a little bit of Christmas snow. I'm going home for Christmas. I go home for Christmas Eve, have the Feast of the Seven Fishes with my dad and my sister and usually my niece and her husband. And then right after lights out, because my dad's lights out early. Then I
10:30.
That's it. Oh, 10:30. Sometimes it's 8:30. And then I know it's ridiculous. And I go, Dad, you going to bed? Yeah. What do I have to stay up for? What's there to stay up for?
Santa's coming, right? He's got to go to sleep before
Yeah,
Santa
that's
gets there.
true. That's true. So anyway, and then I go to my Ziana's house, and that's where Rena and her husband and all my cousins, Rena's brothers, are there, and their wives and kids, and it's just a blast. And my Uncle Nicky, so it's a really fun time. I'm looking forward to it. And then Christmas
I missed
Day.
those episodes of you of it being on a Tuesday. And
Oh
you
my
coming
God.
from-
Listen,
those are some of my favorites.
my favorite episode of What's the Story with Maria of all time, which you can find it on YouTube. If you go to our YouTube page, by the way, you can watch a show on YouTube and on Facebook Live. Just type in What's the Story with Maria. And if you want, you can follow us, which is great. And you type in Christmas with the Raskowskis.
Whoops.
Oh, that's something else. Okay. Christmas with the Raskowskis, which is my favorite episode of all time. Anyway, okay. Because it was Christmas. I was home Christmas with all my crazy cousins. We had so much fun. Anyway,
the big, loud Italian family.
my
If I
big,
remember
loud.
correctly.
Yeah, so there's our YouTube page. You can go back and watch any of our shows. Please do. If you have a favorite episode. I think this is episode 325, Leo.
325.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. But we're happy to be here every Tuesday. And what was I going to say? I have so many things. Oh my God, going on. So we have, Leo, talking about, we have our calendars out, which by the way, I haven't even mailed you one yet. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. But
should we start with a preview for this year's?
Well,
Christmas?
last year's Christmas. Last year, which is this year, 2023. Right. We have one more hottie, Johnny Tomorrow.
Jingle bells.
Friggin' cute is he? Johnny Tomorrow, our Christmas. He said to me, I want to be in the calendar. I said, Johnny, what month do you want to be? Of course, I knew what he was going to say. I want to be December. I'm Mr. Christmas. He works at Macy's. He's Santa. He works at FAO Schwartz. He is a toy soldier. He is Mr. Christmas. And he just happened to have, when he took that picture, which was October, he happened to have all that stuff like around. Because he's like, of course I have Christmas. He's Mr. Christmas. How cute is Johnny Tomorrow? Could you just die? So he is our 2023 Mr. December. And that's the last hottie of 2023. But don't fret, because our 2024 Nothing But the Apron calendar is here. And we have some, my fingers are on fire. Serious.
I was accidentally going through some files recently because, I'm doing some file work, right?
Right.
And I went to open one up and I opened up our calendar and I went, oh my goodness. I had to calm down.
You had to cool down. I know.
Back. Yeah.
Well, Leo, by the way,
cold in California.
I know Leo does a lot of tech work for. Leo is my guy Friday, but he is a gun for hire, and I know right now he's up to his eyeballs. He's doing so much great stuff, but he does websites. He helps out with podcasts. He anything you need that has to do with technical. Leo can create videos. He's created many promo videos. And he put together this calendar for me. I just sent him pictures. And so this calendar is $10, folks. It's really, it's a nice size this year. Usually we have a bigger size for 15, but we went with the smaller size. And I'm looking at these hotties and I can't believe it. So there's 12 hotties. Actually, there's more than 12 hotties because some of these months have 2 people. So there's like maybe 15 hotties in this calendar and it's only $10. So what does that come to? Like 80 cents a hottie. I mean, think about that. That is a bargain, and I like a good bargain. Oh my God, Lynn Portis, genius, has joined us. Lynn Portis and I were hanging out in the balcony, the North Pole of the Triad, a Sunday night with Joe, her husband Joe, who I love Joe.
We love Joe.
Leo is busy. He's very busy right now, but Leo is a gun for hire. So if you need a great guy in your corner, someone that's going to make you look, sound, and feel good, Leo's your guy.
I think we need to start a contest, a guesstimate contest.
A guesstimate.
How many songs has Lynn Portis written?
Well, she can
It's
tell
like that
you,
jelly bean in a jar.
right?
It's like guess the number of songs, great songs.
Well, her show that was running at the in Florida at the Foundry Theater in Fort Lauderdale just
108
closed.
Waverly.
108 Waverly. It had an amazing run, and I was like, I'm praying, please. It needs to come to New York. It needs to come to New York. So we find a little theater, get some backers, and this show was so beautiful, really beautiful. And so, anyway, okay, what else did I want to talk about? We should just, I think, get going. Is there anything coming up this week that, as far as people's shows? I don't think so. I think all our friends' shows have happened now. We're in the middle of Hanukkah, which is great. You were thinking the same thing?
Oh my
You
goodness.
sent it to me. You telepathically sent it. I want to say it's, well, Walker will tell us. I want to say it's the 5th night of Hanukkah, I think. Maybe. Well, look, we're going to have an expert helping us
Night, I
out with
believe
all
it
this.
is. No,
All right, so
night, you're right.
I would like to introduce our guest. Not only has he been my friend for a long, long time, I'm going to say 20 years. He is a radio man. He has a broadcast production company. He does voiceovers. He does audiobooks. He is a writer. He's an amazing writer. He's the sweetest guy. He's a singer. He's a great singer. And we'll talk about all the stuff. He's also a miracle. Something really amazing happened to Walker this year. And he's also celebrating Hanukkah. We're still going to know, he'll know what night it is. Ladies, and I'm going to spell his last name for our radio listeners because, I mean, if you read it, but it's Vreeland, Vreeland. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, put your hands together for Walker Vreeland.
Oh, honey.
I said, oh my God, I said Friedman.
No, I love,
the beginning of the show, my brain flipped it.
Listen, I don't know where I am, what time zone. I'm
I do.
all over the country.
You are all over the country. So wait a minute, something really amazing happened this week and you posted about it. And I was like a little, I had to pull back tears. It was really a big
so
deal.
Before we get to that, can I just say, I mean, look at the show now. How many years have you been doing this?
6, I think 325 episodes would be 6+.
I mean, look at how far you, I mean, look at the new intro. Look at the production values.
Oh,
look
that's
you.
Leo.
You've
that's
come
Leo.
along. I mean, my goodness, Leo, when I was on it was about 5 years ago, I was on for the first time.
You were one of my, I'm going to say you were one of my first 10 shows, Walker.
Wow.
You and Evan were on my show in-house.
Yeah,
at my apartment.
We came over, had spaghetti and meatballs.
That
we
was
did the
really
show.
fun.
We left. It was, I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
But it was lower fi then, and now look, you're like Letterman. You're like the Letterman of you're like the Italian Letterman.
Oh, I love that.
Streaming of like Broadway cabaret and just like what people streaming.
I love that. It was during COVID because we couldn't have anybody over. And Leo had been just my friend watching the show and typing things in and posting and all that. And our mutual friend, Krista Piero, was like, you guys should try the StreamYard thing. It's really like a cool. And then Leo Chris did it the first night. Leo picked it up and we've been doing it since then.
Well, bravo. I mean,
Thank you, honey.
You look great.
Everybody
looks
you,
great.
That means a lot.
Aww.
Because I know he just downplays it, but Walker has been broadcasting on the radio I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget it, 102.5 WBAZ, right?
I haven't.
No, I know, but that was like the first time I heard you on. I mean, I met you, I believe, at the Duplex.
Yeah.
As a singer and as a customer. And then you told me about the show, so I would listen to it. And you were out in Long Island, Sag Harbor, right?
Yeah. I mean, we go back, I think. I mean, we didn't really know each other well then, but I was in the, sort of stepped in briefly to the cabaret scene when I first moved to New York. I mean, I was all of 18 years old, and I was doing a show with
Wow.
Rick Chrome, and so I knew you through Rick, and I would come and hear you sing at the Duplex, and then I left for, I did the radio gig for 10 years,
Yes, I know that.
and
And
so
and you were
and I got
great
and
at
that
it.
and I gave you some radio play because I
No, let me
loved.
tell you something. I
Is
was
that what
getting to
happened?
that. I was getting to that, but I wanted to talk about you first. But I just have to tell everybody, Walker was one of the first radio personalities, online personalities to ever promote my music. Walker would play my music on his radio station. And then when you were with Sirius, remember, I came and did a live when you were with Sirius Radio. I
I
brought my
wasn't.
guitar.
What was
Weren't you with
this?
Sirius or
I
the
wasn't
studio?
with Sirius.
So maybe it was in the same studios as Sirius. It was in that same building because I have a picture of me standing by that Sirius wall. And it was when I came, I had to be with you. Maybe it was with someone else, but
Yeah,
didn't you do your show out of,
it was out in the Hamptons,
okay,
and
but
and
I never
so
came live?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I just played tracks from your album, and I would come see you
Yeah,
when I
but
was in the city. And
we're going to figure this out because
okay.
there was a studio. Oh, there you are.
Oh my God.
But anyway, there was a studio in the city that I
Yeah.
went to and played live, and I could have sworn it was you, but maybe it wasn't you. But anyway, Walker's been doing voice stuff forever, and now you have your production company. You do audiobooks as well, right?
Yes. So I kind of, I parlayed my experience on the radio into producing work. So when I first moved, when I left the airwaves and moved back to New York, it just kind of naturally transpired, because people
Right.
knew I had a background in radio, and people started asking me for help, and would you help me produce my podcast? And so I started, I just started kind of freelancing as a producer, and then
There you are.
it kind of just kept going and took on a life of its own. And during the pandemic, it became official, and I created my own production company. So now it's we started producing mostly podcasts. Now it's more audiobooks than podcasts.
Wow. But you also help people if people want to create something, right? Like,
Yes.
so tell us about that.
Whether it is just content creation for social media, or whether it's a podcast, or whether it's an audiobook. I mean, it really doesn't matter what form it is. It's really helping people tell their stories.
I love that.
And which is so perfect. What's the story with Maria? So
I know. I love this.
it's all about finding, helping people find the best way to express themselves. And yes, it's mostly audio. It's some video, but mostly audio. And that's really what I love. I mean, yes, we, will produce, full-fledged production company, but I love working with people one-on-one. I love directing I love working with actors. And I think part of it is just so I can treat actors the way I always wanted to be treated as an actor.
Yeah.
And I also, everything that I do as a producer, is informed by acting.
That's interesting.
It's all informed by acting. So I'm kind of like, people have described me as an acting coach for people who are playing themselves. Wow. If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it makes total sense. The best way to present yourself, you would help someone present themselves in the best light.
Yeah, and it's all those tools. It's all those tools that you learn, from acting. Whether it's connecting to what you're talking about, or connecting to who you're talking to, or sequence of thoughts, or it's so many lessons that and so I guess that's what sets me apart. I'm not your run-of-the-mill audio producer. And you hear that. You can always hear the difference when you're listening to an audiobook or a podcast. Okay, well, this is next level. This is somebody kind of really taking advantage of the medium and doing something interesting and original with it. You can tell the difference between that and, oh, okay, this is just kind of pretty accurate. It's accurate enough, it's mediocre enough, no one's really doing anything that
Right.
groundbreaking with it. I'm just, it's just somebody reading from a page. And I say, we're at a very precarious point in this business, in voiceover, in audio storytelling,
Yeah.
where we have this threat of AI that's hanging over us.
God.
And so if you ask me, and of course this is sort of, my background is, I studied acting, and I have a very kind of hardcore kind of I don't know, my values in terms of hard work and like really committing to raising the bar. I think always committing to doing, to digging a little bit deeper and creating a storytelling experience that is going to change you, that's going to move you.
Yes.
And so I think that the responsibility is on us. Yes, we should charge what we are worth. Yes, we are worth what we are worth, and only you know what you're worth. But I think that it's up to us to create a better product, so we can. So there's just no contest with AI. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because AI will deliver a perfectly cliche performance.
Yeah, but you know what? I hear what you're saying. A perfectly clear, but you know what? It's not even like that. There's this new AI Jimmy Stewart on the Calm app on your phone, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I've listened to off and on for a couple of years since the pandemic. Actually, I started listening to it.
It's a robot Jimmy Stewart.
Yes, and
what a shame. Oh no.
Yeah, which is because they were like, I'm sure they're getting money for it. So there you go.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is, it brings back his memory, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't sound like him.
Right.
You know what's missing? The soul.
Well, there you go.
How spooky is that?
Well, there you go. That's
Danielle, our medium, our friend Danielle, she's our friend, but she happens to be a medium. She would completely agree with me on this. That is what's missing, the soul. So, there are some things where AI, we could go about AI forever, where you might need it. Like if it's some kind of air dynamic thing that has to happen, some space thing, maybe we need a computer to help. Okay. But no, not actors, not voices. That's
not when it comes to telling a story, period.
Yeah.
Whether you are doing so in a commercial or an audiobook or a podcast, it's got to be human. And eventually, yes, it will grow and it will get more sophisticated, but there will never be replacing the human soul and the human heart. And that's why we have to make sure that what we do is that we don't just jump to the first idea or just jump to a performance too quick. I think the whole thing has to become, if you ask me, in my opinion, more process-based, which is the joy of it.
Yes, of course.
Which is the joy. You want to make something.
The discovery of it as you're going.
Yeah.
As you're
going. And you want to
going.
make something that you can feel proud of.
Absolutely.
I did that. Yes, I worked my ass on it. No, I didn't expect to. And I'm saying this partly because, I work differently than most producers do. I don't give just technical mispronunciation notes. I give character notes, and then there's a back and forth, and there is an evolution,
Right. But Walker,
and that takes more hours.
You're not just an actor and a voiceover artist. You are also a writer. So didn't you have a show that ran on the cruise lines for a while? I mean, you have had
you mentioned that.
Listen, you've had 1,000 lives.
I know, it's true. My first play that I wrote was about that experience, in fact. So when I was 26, I took a job on Norwegian Cruise Lines as lead singer, had a complete fucking nervous breakdown, and wrote about it. And, it was such a great story. It was such a dark time, but it's so worth it because the story turned out to be so good. It was good enough that I said, I have to write a play about this.
I love it.
So it's called From Ship to Shape. The play begins with me getting on Norwegian Cruise Lines, that I soon get off quickly, thereafter, and then end up in a mental hospital for 10 days. And it's a comedy.
But I love that.
It's a dark comedy about mental illness.
To me, and I hope it's okay I brought that up because to me, as not just your friend, but as someone that loves theater and loves the process.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what better way to take something that is dark and bring it out and turn it into
Yes.
art. Like, that's what we're supposed to do
Yes.
with our pain and
Yeah.
our confusion and our, like,
Yes.
to me, that's what mental illness is. It's like confusion about where we are, and then we find our way.
Yeah.
It's like whether it's addiction, whatever we've all
Yeah.
been there
For sure.
somehow, some way. We've all had bouts of being off track, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then most of us, thank God, knock on wood, get back on track or find a new path. Or
it's the biggest gift I think we are given as artists, is that we have this opportunity to take the tragedy of our lives, to take the dysfunction, to take this, everything that we have survived, those moments that we were in the most brutal darkness, and we have the opportunity to harness it and make something out of it. I mean, maybe this does sound cliche, but I think it is amazing when you can create something from it and then you stand back and you're saying something important. You have something to say and you're saying it to the world and you're sharing yourself. And then, God, I mean, there's so much healing in that.
Absolutely. Now, let me just check in to see who's, that's why I was looking down because I run this on 2 different pages. So I'd like to see what the comments are. So, of course, Lynn Portis has joined us, Lori Towers, Alana Diaz. Alana Diaz is my friend, amazing singer. Like,
oh, amazing.
Big personality, big pipes. Alana's amazing.
I love me some singers.
Oh, she's fantastic. Wayne Gilbert has joined us. Wayne's an amazing musician, composer, and right now he's in North Carolina, but he's all over the country. Janet Betta has joined us. Janet, I know you just had a birthday recently. Happy birthday, honey. And so now you were just talking about from tragedy and all that.
Yeah.
And so I'm naming this episode "The Many Lives of Walker Vreeland" because no, I am. Because Walker, the times that since I've known you, you have, I'm not going to use that word reinvented because people use that too loosely these days, but you have almost like a bird flown into different things and flown out of like a phoenix, these beautiful birds just flying out of really, really, really difficult situations. And you always do something beautiful with it. And you always make us laugh. Like, I have to tell people, and you're going to tell the story, but Walker a year ago had major surgery. I'll let you tell the story, but it was so jarring to know that my friend was going through this and know what he was going through and to watch him go through it. And then you were filming, you were literally doing fake lives. Like, from his hospital room. I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, I literally, part of that was just an enormous dose of ketamine that they just kind of blow through you, right? And I was, but, for those who don't know, I've had, I would just turn 45 and I have had a lot of health problems in my life. And it began with, mental stuff, but, when I was very young, I was diagnosed with a degenerative liver disease. And so I had this thing called primary sclerosing cholangitis, and it increases the risk of developing bile duct cancer, which I did first in 2016. And it was treated by a liver resection where they just cut the diseased part of my liver out.
Right.
And the liver regenerates, it grows back. So I had that done in 2016. At the beginning of 2022, I just went downhill quick, really quick. I had a whole bunch of things happen to me and I was in the hospital, all year long for, at least once a month I was hospitalized. Wow. And they found that the cancer had returned and that was not, good news. And so I had to face that. And I was told, it was pretty unanimous that, there I am with my,
You're
looks
adorable.
like a chef's hat, but
I know,
I wrapped a sheet as a turban.
How do you make
head.
even hospital stays look cute? You're adorable.
That was literally, that was That was literally the day after.
So
the-
you
the
had a
transplant.
transplant, right?
So yeah, it was pretty unanimous that the way forward, the only way forward, and my only chance of staying alive was to have a complete liver transplant. No more resection, no more cutting out a piece. I had to have the whole liver taken out.
Wow.
And so I was faced with that. At the time, I was living in Philadelphia for a couple of years
I
because my husband
remember.
and I wanted to buy a house. Turned out to be the worst time in the world to do that. But I thought that Philly would be a pretty good medical city, and it is.
Right.
But no hospital in Philadelphia agreed to give me this transplant. So
Wow.
because it was a recurrence, it was high risk. There's always a chance of recurrence, I guess. And, new transplant programs don't want to take that risk. They don't want you to die. And then their statistics get messed up, and then they, have a hard time building their program.
Right.
So they basically said, this is what you need, but we won't do it. And you're on your own in finding it. And so I was, I was in the hospital once a month. I was on chemo, pretty heavy chemo. I had 2 drains in my stomach that were draining bile into bags that I would safety pin, one bag on this side, one bag on this side. And every time I went outside, I'd have to pad my entire abdomen with just padding, gauze, and tape. So I would, my profile would be like my stomach would be sticking out to here with gauze and shit. So anyway, I even like I was so handicapped physically and especially emotionally. And if you had asked me at the time, I would have said I feel pretty incapacitated. I was sleeping a lot. I was very, very tired. I was yellow. My eyes were yellow. I was dying, basically. I was in liver failure. And I knew that the only way was to find a surgeon and find a transplant center that would do the surgery. And I sat at my desk every day, and I made phone call after phone call after phone call, and I filled out forms, and I made phone calls, and I called this doctor, and I called this doctor, and I called as many people as I could. And I fought. Maria, I fought. I just said, this is not ending now.
Yes.
I am going to make this happen. And I didn't know where it was going to be. I was looking at San Francisco. I was looking at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. I was looking at the University of Pittsburgh because that's where the liver transplant was pioneered. And so I eventually made some headway and began the whole examination, sort of pre-evaluation process with University of Pittsburgh, and ended up going there. But it was, then my insurance denied the surgery 8 times, saying it wasn't medically. Blue Cross Blue Shield denied it 8 times, saying it wasn't medically necessary.
Unbelievable.
And
Unbelievable.
I tell you what, I was, my being me, and everything that makes me a difficult person to, I guess, maybe live with, or is definitely sometimes difficult living with myself and inside my own head. But it was one of the few times that I thought, you know what, I'm so glad I'm me, because my terror right now, my absolute terror, I'm so scared of what's going to happen to me. And my fury and my rage got me through it. I mean, I just would not take it. And I said, God damn it, I'm going to have this surgery, and you will not deny me medical care. And I threatened this, insurance company. I think at one point I told them that I was going to burn their company to the ground. I said, you motherfuckers are not going to, I said, you motherfuckers are trying to kill me, and you're not going to kill me. You're not going to kill me. You're not going to kill me. And so I had the transplant. I had it. I got it November 10th, 2022. So a little over a year ago.
A year ago. Oh my God.
Perfectly. I've been in very good health. I'm so grateful for every single moment. I mean,
so
you
just passed the year.
Yeah, I passed the 1 year mark.
So you now, did your brother donate some?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had it's called a live donor liver transplant. So there's the usual kind. Oh, thank you so much, Michael.
Oh,
So,
Michael is my
oh,
friend that had a
yes,
heart transplant
yes,
7 years
of course.
ago, very close to when Michael, type in your anniversary because you
Very
both
important to.
posted. Michael is the reason that Michael Rizzo, my friend, who former EMT at the World Trade Center, he is the reason that I am a donor. So I cannot, Michael, type in what the link is. It's to donate. If you want to be an organ donor, which I think we should all be organ donors.
Yeah.
But this is a living. You said your brother.
Right.
So
there are different kinds of, like, normal liver transplant is, someone dies suddenly and tragically, usually a young person, otherwise in good health. They're in some sort of terrible, tragic accident, and they happen to be a liver donor, and their liver goes quickly to somebody who needs it. I mean, like within hours. It's on ice and it's moving. In this case, I was told that I could not do that. I had to have a live donor liver transplant. And my brother, Taylor, he's, both of my brothers offered to be my donor. And my brother, Taylor, who's 4 years younger than me, was a match. And he, didn't even hesitate. He just, he sent me a text and said, it's yours. It's yours if you want it. And so anyway, just
that's incredible.
He saved my life. He saved my life.
Wow.
I'm very, very, very lucky.
Just beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so Michael says, and Michael, November 17th, and yours was when?
Wow. It was November 10th.
Okay, so you're very close in the date. He's had heart transplant 7 years now. You've had your liver transplant a year. Yeah. Michael says the website that we all want to go to is called registerme.org. And that is where you can register to be an organ donor. And it's just, this is really, really, really important stuff. And, Walker, you've done a million things. Like you've done so many things in your life that are worth talking about and worth applauding and worth listening to, and, but I just remember when you were going through that on Facebook, I was like, what? Like, he's just a young guy. Like, what's happening? Right. But you made you were so connected. Maybe it was that actor part. Maybe it was the performer part. Maybe it was just that, you didn't, that part of you that didn't want to go yet, that was so connected to your audience that I was just blown away. And I'm like, oh my God.
I told the story as it happened, which I don't always do. Oh, thank you. There's my, I started this blog and did not finish it because I started writing a play instead. It happens.
Yeah.
But, anyway, it was just, what was I saying? I have no idea.
About, you started documenting it.
Right. So I just started telling it as it happened, which I just had, that's just my way. And that's, that's a kind of purpose that I tapped into when I was on the radio. And I ended up on the radio. I didn't really know how I got there. It was one of those situations where, I was an actor in New York. From New York originally. I was born there and, came back to go to NYU for college. And so I was doing the thing. And then all of a sudden took this cruise ship job, and I didn't know it at the time, but it changed the trajectory of my life. I ended up leaving the business or stepping away from it for a while. I went into broadcasting, and I ended up on the radio, and I didn't know what I was doing at first. It took me, 10 years of doing it every day live. You learn how to do it. But I had an impulse to, I had instincts. I had good instincts, and my instincts were always tell the story of your life. I was doing that even when I was 25. And then I started writing the play, and I kept it going on the radio as a form of telling my story and even then I knew the purpose here is to make others and myself feel less alone with who they are and what they're going through.
That's so beautiful.
A lot of people say it now. I think a lot of people are on board with this idea. I think it's a beautiful thing. But, you know, it just kind of like evolved that way. And I realized, oh, no matter what I'm doing in the real world, whether I'm
Yeah.
acting, whether I'm on the radio, whether I'm a playwright, whether I'm producing other people's stuff, the
Right.
purpose is all the same. The purpose is to tell my stories, to help other people tell their stories of survival, so we all know that we're in the shit together, and
Right.
that it's okay, and it's scary and it's awful, but it's miraculous.
Yes,
It's
it is.
so miraculous. I mean,
And
it is a miracle that I
I
am sitting here.
know, I
I
know
mean,
it is, but
yeah.
I'm in awe. I'm in awe of what's happening because it is a miracle, but it's also, you know, what Danielle said, and she said, your soul decided and the universe had to deliver. So when you continue to push and saying to these insurance companies, no, I don't think you understand. I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm going to make sure I get this done. That's you, like, that's your soul, which from what she's saying, demanding. And so the universe is like, you got it, because
Right.
that's, you know what I mean? And so people are just really loving that. Now, my cousin Cora Gothier has popped on. She said, good evening, Marie. She's lovely. She's in Massachusetts.
Oh,
Her brother,
hi,
John,
Cora. Yeah.
you would love Cora. She's funny and fabulous.
Oh my God, I love her picture.
Yeah, she's so cute.
I know I would love her. Okay.
Her brother, John, just had a kidney transplant maybe like a year ago, Cora, I think, and one of our cousins, our cousin Kathy, donated a kidney to him. So, and now Leo, I don't know if you have that picture I sent you. I do want to bring this up because, you know, you really, watching your story, you've inspired me so much. And, you know, I do know people that this happens to. You know, these things come up and it's like all of a sudden you need a transplant. And it's like, so what you were talking about, that sometimes, you know, there's a donor, and then other times you're looking for a match somewhere, right? So my cousin Ronaldo Crugnali, he is my cousin Rena Crugnali-Burgess. She pops on all the time. It's her brother, her oldest brother. He and I were best friends growing up. We're a year apart, and he has had kidney issues in the past, but now he is at that place in his life where he needs a kidney.
He needs it.
So he's in Massachusetts, and if you know, a lot of our family has already tested and all that, and they're looking for matches. But if you are someone in the Massachusetts area that is listening to this show, and you say, you know what, I want to help out a really good guy, this is the link that you just scan. This is amazing now. Like with these codes, you can scan, they send you all the information to fill out, and then you can go and get tested. And so if you are someone that wants to do something like that, you know, all of us are the family people are, of course, getting tested and making sure that, you know, who's a match and who isn't. But as Cora knows, because it happened to her brother, you go through a lot of people.
Yes.
Now, your brother was a match. Like, was he the first person to match up?
And it's wild because I don't think I told you this story, and we probably don't have time for it today, but I found out 5 years ago that my two brothers are actually my half brothers.
Oh, wow.
And so even
another story, you see, you have
no idea. I have lived
you gotta write a book,
extraordinary life. I mean, it's all been worth it. I have to, maybe. I mean, like, it's a cancer twice, maybe not. But look, I really think that the stories that have come out of it's unbelievable. I never have to write fiction ever.
No,
because
you don't need
I
to.
Just have amazing shit that's happened to me. Just in a nutshell, my parents, my very waspy Episcopalian parents, called me and my two brothers home for an emergency family meeting. 2018. None of us knew what it wouldn't tell us what it was about. We were, of course, like, okay, one of you are dying, or you're getting a divorce, or something's happened to all of your money. And they were like, no. And I said, well, will you tell us, or are you going to make me worry all week? Because, you know, that's like my like neutral position, is just like anxiety is my neutral.
Yeah.
They said, no, we're not going to tell you. So we all come out there. We sit at the dining room table. And my dad tells us he's not our biological father, and none of ours. and that we were all donor conceived,
Wow.
like donor babies, and that I have a different donor than my brothers.
Oh my gosh.
So we're all completely shocked. It is the last thing. And we're saying, why are you telling, I was 40 years old at the time. Why are you telling us now? They said, oh, well, we heard a few of you talking about 23andMe, and we knew that if you take the test, you're going to find out. So they were like in a race to get to us before 23andMe did. So we are like, we all go home. My parents are like, oh, we feel so much better. We get that off of our shoulders. Bye. We're going to Italy on a cruise of the Mexican, the Italian Riviera. If you need us, we'll be in Italy. And we were like, oh, great. Now we're fucking stuck with this baggage to sort through. And then I do 23andMe. I find out I'm 49% Ashkenazi Jewish after thinking that I've been like a waspy, like, Protestant all my life.
Wow.
And of course, I'm like, it's also validating. I'm like, of course, I always felt like an alien in my family. I always was of course I'm a Jew. Like, I looked it back and I was like, this makes so much sense.
Well, happy Hanukkah, honey.
Thank you, honey.
That's beautiful.
And then I just sort of assumed I'd never know anything about the donor because it was all anonymous. And then in January of 2019, I wake up one day and I have a message on 23andMe from a woman named Dana in Florida. And she said, I think I have information about your biological father.
Oh my God. This is like like this ongoing story, like on Netflix.
Telling you. So we started making a documentary about it and it was on hold. But anyway, so my biological father, my sperm donor, was his name was Fred Nathan, and he was one of the most famous Broadway press agents in the history of the American theater. He opened Cats and Phantom and Les Mis and Miss Saigon and 42nd Street and Sunday in the Park with George. And
this makes total sense, Walker.
Total sense,
Look
right?
at
Of course. I know. I was like, at 40 years old, I finally, like, all the puzzle pieces came together. I was like, now I understand who I am. So anyway, he was, his name was Fred Nathan, and he was very good friends with Elizabeth Taylor and Stephen Sondheim and Elaine Stritch. And
are you kidding me?
I could not, literally, Maria, it was like finding out I was a gay prince. It was like finding out I was like, I'm a gay prince. I was like, never gay. So I lost my fucking mind. I've since gotten very, close to Fred's family. Fred was, he was openly gay. He died of AIDS in 1994. We were on the planet for the 15 years from at the same time, for the same 15-year period from my age 0 to age 15, and we never knew each other existed. But as I was growing up in the suburbs of Baltimore and falling in love with all of these Broadway soundtracks, Cats and Phantom and Les Mis, he's in New York at that time producing those shows or doing publicity for them. And I mean, it's just wild. He's written about in what's the Michael Riedel book, Razzle Dazzle.
Okay,
there's a few chapters about Fred, and he's like hobnobbing with all of the the New York press and the New York theater press, Frank Rich, and it's just wild.
That's you. That's crazy.
So when I found out that my brother, who's actually my half brother, still was a match, I mean, and now I'm writing this play about these two major donors in my life, like my sperm donor who gave me life and my brother liver donor who, allowed me to stay alive.
All right. I told you out there, listeners, that you're going to need a box of Kleenex for this show. I told you. And I'm telling you, I'm doing I even texted Walker earlier. I said, my challenge tonight as the host of the show is not crying, because your story every turn there's something beautiful. You are supposed to be here, Walker.
Thank you,
are
Maria.
supposed to be here. Every turn, it's amazing. Like your purpose is on earth, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look,
That
and
means so much.
but it's true. It's inevitable. Like you can't even argue with that.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that we're getting to tell everybody this story now. Okay, let me just check in. So Rick Sudi Caritas has joined us. Jill Dilly has joined us. She's in Philly. She's my friend Chris Dilly's mom, and I love both of them. Chris Dilly, by the way, tonight, I don't know if it was tonight or this week, conducted the Broadway Voices choir.
Oh, fabulous.
And yeah, he got to conduct it because I saw it on his page. He's a beautiful guy.
Wow.
And his mother is absolutely beautiful. And we're both Geminis. She and his mother were both Geminis. Hi, Jill. But anyway, so is this an amazing story of Walker? Now, usually I do a food section of the show. So I'm going to quickly do it. Now, I didn't cook tonight because I'm at my girlfriend's, but I know my cousins in Boston would be upset if I don't do the food section of the show. So I'm in Jersey, and I got to put a shout out. And I always say this. No one pays me to endorse anything. I endorse what I want to endorse and what I love. There's a pizza place in Edgewater, New Jersey called Rasco's, Rascoe, Rasco's. And they make my favorite pizza in Jersey. So this is a mushroom and caramelized onions on delicious cheese. And it's like, I like square pizza. So that's what I got tonight for our food section. And because it is the holiday season, my favorite holiday treat, it's seasonal at Starbucks, is the Cranberry Bliss Bar. So this is my pick of the season, my Cranberry Bliss Bar. You know I love to eat. I can't help it.
Yes.
So that is the section of our show called Go Ahead, Keep Eating. And that's what the aprons in our go ahead, I can't show January. It's too hot. It's too hot.
Oh, okay.
It's just like he's naked. He's basically naked. Here's my friend G. This is a good one. G is in April, and he is holding the play. The Shakespeare is also born in April. So this is G holding up the whole going with the Shakespeare thing. But this is the aprons. If anybody needs an apron, we have aprons. Let me know. I will get it out to you. If you need it for Christmas, hurry though, because we only have 10 days left to Christmas, and I will get that in the mail for you. The apron is $25. These are just 10. So if you want some nice little stocking stuffer. But anyway, okay, so let's just remind people, if you're just checking in, this is Walker Vreeland, Vreeland. He is basically a magician. He has reincarnated himself on Earth so many times in the same body now, but you have been around forever, my friend. Spiritually, you've been around forever. And I've had the pleasure of knowing you now. I'm going to say it's 20 years.
I think that's about right.
Yeah.
That's about right. Yeah.
And all that. So Walker, we also want to, if you haven't, Walker just celebrating a year of a liver transplant, which is amazing. Our friend Michael Rizzo, 7 years of a heart transplant, and he is the reason that I am a donor. So if you would like to register to be a donor, which is such an amazing thing, you can, it's registerme.org. Go to that website. It's so easy.
And
it
just
takes 5 minutes.
Absolutely. It's really easy to do. And also just, so people know, thousands of people die every day because they didn't get an organ in time. Like there are not enough organs to go to all the people who need them. That's true for livers. It's true for kidneys. It's true for hearts. And so it is, what is a bigger gift than that? It is truly the gift of life. It is, you are saving somebody's life. And if it, especially, whether you just register as an organ donor or whether you choose to give, I know someone very close to me is just given a kidney just to do it. Doesn't know the recipient, just anonymously giving, just to do it. And
that's incredible. And like I was saying, my cousin Johnny, Cora's brother, just received a liver, I'm going to say about a year ago, from our cousin Kathy.
Really?
And she's his cousin as well. So she's not his, but sometimes things don't match up, but she did donate to, and he's doing great and she's doing great. And my cousin Ron, Ronaldo is his proper name, but Ronnie, we call him Ronnie. He's about my age, a year younger, and he is now someone that is going to need a kidney.
Yeah.
So if you are in the Massachusetts area and you want to, Leo, maybe we can put that in the comments. I'll put it after the show, and that way you guys can go back and look at that and just scan in. If you're in Massachusetts and you want to go get tested, this is my cousin Ronnie. We were best buddies. And I used to beat him up because he was little, and now he's gigantic. So I was his little, when we were kids, if anybody picked on him in the schoolyard, I always beat them up. But then again, I love to beat up boys as a kid. That was kind of like my hobby. So anyway, but now he's a big, burly guy. And I just want to put the word out because I love him with all my heart. And he's my Ziana's son, and he's my cousin Rena's brother. And so if you're out there and you want to get tested, and a kidney is something you can donate because we have two, and you can still keep one. So that is something to consider. But
yes,
also at registerme.org if you just want to be an organ donor. It's such a great thing.
The liver is extraordinary. It grows back, you guys. I mean,
I've heard
it regenerates. I mean, it regenerates quick because your body needs it to. It needs a full liver. So if you get, like, I got 3/4 of my brother's liver, and he was left with 1/4. He was very, very tired. And of course, like we were both cross-eyed on drugs, but he was exhausted and
how's he doing? How is Taylor doing?
Amazing. Yeah.
He's a cutie too.
Very.
He's a cutie.
And so his grew back completely within about 3 months. And
That's
then mine
amazing.
grew as well. I know. I mean, it's weird to know that, well, it's amazing that he's in, that organ is inside of me.
I know. The only regret I have about tonight, Walker, is that I cannot hug you physically.
Oh my God, I know.
I wish there was a way that I could just break through, and because I love you and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, Maria, thank you so much.
But please leave us. I always ask our guests to leave us with something. Now, as a creative, but you have encompassed so much, like, because the people that watch the show are creative people, they're good people, they're kind people.
Yes,
and
I remember.
Sometimes it's so easy, especially during the holidays. We feel so sad, or maybe we just lost somebody, and as we get older, we lose people.
Yep.
But what would you leave everybody with, either as a creative or just as a human being, or just celebrating the holidays? Something that will inspire us, Walker. I mean, your whole story is inspiring, but what's like just as something to leave people with?
Anything is possible to survive. I would say that. I would say that there is a way through. I mean, a little over a year ago, I was just, it was a hard year leading up to it. It was probably one of the most difficult times of my life. And I think that in fact, I was more confident that I would be okay physically. I was not as confident that I would be okay mentally. I honestly didn't know if I would make it emotionally through it, because I was so, I was literally frozen with terror. I was completely, it was tough. And it was like, it's one of those things where it completely consumes your entire life. This threat that's looming over you. You sitting on the couch with my husband watching TV, and he's actually watching the show. I'm in my head wondering, am I going to die? Am I going to is this going to really happen? So I guess what my point is that I wasn't sure there was going to be a way out. I couldn't see the light at that moment. I just couldn't see the light. And every single step, even dealing with the trauma of all of it, the emotional, psychological trauma, there's a way out of that too. I've been doing all kinds of my spiritual journey is become so deep and so profound. I'm pretty open and pretty agnostic, and I asked for help. I think that's another lesson.
Absolutely.
Ask for help, reach out. It's so important to feel a community support behind you. I was so blessed. I mean, my family is incredible. My friends are incredible. I have this amazing, radio audience that still stays in touch with me, even though I haven't been on the air in, years. So, reach out, ask for help. You will be carried through. You will be carried through, and there is light. There is a way out of it.
Yeah. Wow.
You can survive.
Well, there's no better way to. I mean, how could I just say anything on top of that except thank you. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but wow, what a miracle and what an inspiration. And I even remember those early days where you would make those little videos, and I was like, oh my God, like he is still funny. You were so funny.
Well, the thing is, sorry to interrupt
you.
You
were singing it. No, but I'm saying you were. I said, this is, of course, Walker would be funny even after his transplant. Like, this
to be fair, I had a almost brand. I mean, it was new to me, healthy liver for maybe the first time in my life.
Wow.
And so it was, and this is just incredible. It was immediate, almost immediate. I was in a lot of pain. Yeah. I was very drugged. I was very subdued. I was seeing double because I was on so much like so many meds. I was on like Dilaudid and ketamine. I was seeing double, but
wow.
I felt this life force inside of me immediately. I always have a sick liver. When you're sick, when you have a chronic illness, when you're dealing with any kind of serious life-threatening illness, your body, you get to the point where like it just becomes your normal, and
right.
you don't notice how horrible you feel because it's just normal. It's like your everyday. So right. All of a sudden I had this healthy liver, and even though it was just like the day after, and I could barely I couldn't move out of bed. But I felt this life, this like solar.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
It was like the sun. It was like a big
beam of light,
warm beam of light. This like solar power energy life force that was like beaming through me, and I couldn't help it. I had to get on this stupid phone, and I was like, "You guys."
I loved it. Well, Walker, I can't thank you enough. And this so we could go on with this for hours and hours, but I just and thank you everybody who popped in and commented, and I hope that you will take all the information from this show and just let it wash over you, and know that when you do something for someone else, you do something for the world. Like if we all are kind to each other and we all help each other out, whatever it is, just listening to each other, helping people that create things and listening to what they create, joining them, supporting them, registering to be a donor, maybe being a donor yourself, helping someone out. So whatever you have to do, hold on, honey, hold on. Whatever you have to do, just do it. You're going to feel better. And happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Merry Christmas. Yeah. Leo, please, you want last word?
Can I play us out after you say goodbyes? I have something that a song that we just need to.
Sure.
Because Walker's she's amazing.
Walker, I love you, honey.
I love you. Thank you so much, Leo. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for inviting me back.
Absolutely.
I love you.
I love you too, honey. And Leo's going to play us out with this.
Okay.
What's that, Leo?
You Gotta Believe.
Oh, that's your song that you wrote.
Walker's been making me think of it.
All right, we want to thank everybody. Come back and see us every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook or YouTube, and go back and check all our episodes out if you like. And we're also on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. My name's Maria. This is What's the Story with Maria. Thank you, Walker Vreeland. Thank you, Leo Rodriguez.
Walker the Miracle.
Oh. Thank you, guys.
Well, let me end.
Mwah.